Good evening. How are you, Tracy? Hi, Tracy. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Doc. How are you?
Very good. I'm just starting all the on the wisdom and on the restream. I have four channels, so all online. For people to come in. Sometimes few people come, and then we'll have questions and answers. So I was very happy to talk to you today. It was a very good conversation, right? So,
I was very happy as well.
yeah,
Thank you again.
yeah, sure. So these three houses that I have, one is the docks and burnout. This is because of the importance the burnout of the doctors and nurses is having on the profession. I kind of reopened this house, but I had the BA PAL before too. And then lately I opened another house exclusively for the divinity we are talking about. That is a Sivagnana Jiva Seva, SGJS. That is the third house. But anyway, this house is the one I was opening almost every day. And then the Sivagnana Seva weekly, and the BF also once in a while in the morning and afternoon. Whenever I get a time, I like to open and randomly talk to people. So whoever comes, I will talk. Even if somebody don't come, I go on say what I have to say because the replays are on, and a lot of people listen to them from other countries also. How I know about that is they DM me after the talks if they have any questions.
Wow, you just never know, right?
Yeah, you never know because that's why you got to treat everybody who is here with equal respect and then also speak to them. I got used to this for a long time. And when I go to a big room like Rocky's, the reception is really very good lots of times. Did you listen to my entire presentation this morning?
This morning?
Yeah, this morning when we were in Rocky's room.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, yes, of course.
Yeah, how was it as a whole for you?
It was very insightful. I think it was a much needed conversation.
Okay, okay. So I think Rocky and all those people also got a lot out of it from what they told me. So I kind of went ahead and made a couple of movies on that particular theme, expanding them a little bit more. Maybe they can see them slowly instead of absorbing all of that in 1 hour. If they can, spend some time with each video, they will get more out of it. Like, breathing, what kind of things I would suggest for them, what is the simple normal thing to do. All those instructions were there, and also um, really they have contact information and all that, so they can act that. But I was very impressed with your story, Tracy, and then I think we need more people like you to really be self-conscious about the health, and then really, uh, actually, I train my patients to be like you, more aware, knowledgeable about it, and also really not to take anything that is given to them wherever they have. So some of my patients went to the specialist, they gave me a hard time. Why you had to take this? What is the need and all that? Then they called and said, "What are you doing to your patients? They are kind of harassing us." I, there was one special service I used to give it to them. That what it is how can you be very savvy about navigation in the healthcare field? So that was like suppose you go to a specialist, how can you determine he has good success with that particular surgery? Suppose somebody has a shoulder problem. I used to really vet the orthopedic surgeon who can do that. Of course, there was restrictions by the insurance company, but otherwise, if a young person really high job and he want to save his shoulder, one time I sent him to all the way Texas because this particular surgeon has a very high record of success in shoulder surgery. So that kind of thing you want to select. So I used to call that how can you navigate very savvily around the healthcare field. That means you have to know the health policy, you have to know the insurance companies, you have to know what is the inside picture and all that. So I used to make my patients very aware and very savvy about this, and so they were really watching for these malpractices or negligence and all that. Uh,
My goodness, Doc, I am so impressed. I
yeah,
cannot. I've heard stories before, and I've met several doctors,
yeah.
but no doctor compares to you. Not to go to that level.
Yeah.
My goodness, I am impressed. Yes, I am.
What happened was I was able to establish my own practice, Tracy. So I had the liberty. I didn't care how much time I spent with my patients because the patients deserved that. And all these things used to come out. And then they used to go to Florida and call me from the Walgreens there and asking for, is this good enough for us to take it over the counter? So it was more like a fun thing because we had relationship with the patients because they were like my extended family, right? So it didn't feel like a extra burden for me. Actually, when they had the system, we were doctors all the time. That worked better for me because I knew what was going on to them all the time. So it's very easy to handle them. After the hospital system has come, then we were giving the patients to the hospital, and then we were just taking as the outpatient. But I was going away from the place to be hospitalized, some other hospitals, because I have this informatics background. So I wanted to see many systems. I was started with Cerner, then I went into Epic, MedTech, and all that, right? So I was very eager to learn each VMware system. So that was kind of, fun time too. But when the system came like that, patients used to go to the emergency room when they wanted to be admitted. Initially, they didn't want to get admitted on anybody, and they were calling me. Then I have to go and explain to them what's the system change, why it has happened. But I'm going to keep an eye, and then I'm going to look in touch with the attending physician and all that. Then they slowly they got used to it. But then initially, there was a lot of calls from the ER for me asking, your patient doesn't want to get admitted under the hospitalist, you please talk to them. Sometimes I through the phone, that was okay, but sometimes I had to go there. There was this girl I remember very well, Tracy. I think you understand. She's a young mom. She was the sister, no, daughter-in-law of my office manager, right? So she had recently married, so she had a baby, and then they were going to the emergency room because the baby had a cough and fever and all that. She was not doing good. But the emergency room physician said, oh, she will be okay, take the antibiotics and go. They would not go. So they called me, and I was in a big banquet with my wife because the hospital was giving a big banquet of the annual thing, right? And we were there. And she said, Doctor, please come and take a look at my baby. This man is not treating her properly. So I kind of went there because the hospital was only 5 months away. So I drove there and then went in there. And the girl has a big pneumonia on her chest X-ray.
Goodness.
And then this guy is sending her home. And then she said, see what he's doing. Then I looked at it and I said, okay, I think that girl looks also toxic and she's very young. So put her in the hospital. And then I called I can admit on the pediatric because I have the privileges. But then I told her I will admit, but then pediatrics will take over her. And then so that kind of mistakes are legitimate, right? So people genuinely upset about it. But this guy was very nonchalantly, oh, that's okay. She would have gotten over that, but that's not the case. She had to give IV antibiotics for 3 4 days before she became better. So those stories, multiple. I practiced over 40 years, Tracy. So there are so many stories.
Well, Doc, even myself, now that you mentioned the story, that reminded me of myself. I've was in a car accident, and when I was rushed to the emergency room,
Yeah.
the doctor asked, my chief complaint, and I said, my back. And he said to me, okay, we're going to give you a cortisone shot. I said, Doc, my back, the pain I am experiencing is the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. I said, I have two children, and this pain is worse than labor pain.
Yeah.
And he said to me, well, I'm going to give you a cortisone shot, and then I'm going to discharge you. I said, no, Doc, I want you to do an x-ray.
Yeah.
He said, well, the place that you're complaining about pain, thoracic 8, he said, it's where all the nerve ending meet, and if there was any damage there, you would be paralyzed. So he knows for a fact there's no damage there because I'm not paralyzed. I said, Doc, I still need an x-ray. I'm not leaving because it hurts to breathe. So they had me walk to the x-ray room, and while I was in the x-ray, the technician ran out of the room to call the doctor. When the doctor came back, they said, oh my God, your back is broken. He said, yes. He said, your back is broken, and we don't want you to move. We want you to stabilize you. We've never seen an injury like this where, the outcome is not paralysis. And so, yes, it's about really listening to the patients and being able to advocate for yourself as well.
Hi, Alka. Alka, Tracy is here also, a healthcare person with administration. Alka also administers a nursing home, Tracy. So I wanted to meet her.
Hi, Alka. How are you?
Good evening. You okay, guys?
Where are you located?
UK, then.
Oh, wow. Hi, Alka. I'm an ALF assistant associate administrator as well.
All right, great to meet you.
Like,
I'm trying to get the video, one of them, so that they can. Yeah, I got it. Now I'll pin it to the up here so that people can enjoy that. There it is. Alka, I had a room this morning with another friend of mine, Rocky Social. There we were discussing about this simple ways of stress relief. So I put the video up there for other people also when they come in. Tracy, you know what we talked about. That is the same video. I put it there as a video. So that's good.
Now, I'm not really familiar, as I said to you, with Clubhouse. Am I able to send this video to myself, or once we get home?
Yeah, you can copy it and then put it there, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Usually I paste it in my house also, but this is something. Alka, we were talking about this morning, that was a scheduled room for Wellness Wednesdays, we call it in Social with Rocky. It's a big room. They have 90,000 members, I think. But I'm friendly with Rocky. She's a lovely lady, gives from her heart. So we talked about this five. Just I'll tell you, after you see the video, you will appreciate them better. There are deeper, detailed videos made. I'll post them later. But basically, I said just to breathe deeply, be in the present, and be kind, and be grateful for what you have, and smile a lot. That is something I do all the time. I'm not funny guy, but I usually laugh and smile very easily. I enjoy that too. My daughter also, whenever she takes a photograph herself or we take her, and then she always smiles a lot. It's beautiful to watch her when she is smiling. So the simple things, these five, they don't have to take like a medicine. They don't have to pay any money, but they can really use this on a daily basis to really nullify the stress response. We talked a little bit on the people have. So, do you have any questions on those five measures, Alka or Tracy?
Oh, Doc, when you mentioned breathe deeply,
Yeah,
I had raised my hand in that room just to ask if you can expand on that because I mean,
oh yeah,
even me being a practitioner and understanding some pranayam,
yeah,
I don't, if it's safe to say, think that everyone understands what deep breathing is
yeah.
or the timing, etc. Is it possible you can expand on that a
Yeah,
little?
yeah, very simple. What it is you always want to, extend the exhalation more than inhalation, but start with where you are. If you are an advanced breathing person like you are, Tracy, you can do longer time. But somebody else who is the beginner, first time doing it, the process is very simple. Posture is important. Sit on the floor if you can, or if you can sit on the chair with a back support or something, but keep the spine straight. That is the requirement. And then neck also straight, and then close your mouth. Take a deep breath through the nares, so that you can put your hands on the abdomen too, so that the hands raise as you fill in the complete lungs come down, and they push on the diaphragm, push on the abdomen wall. You are not breathing into the abdomen, you are breathing into the lungs, but then depressing the diaphragms, they go down, right? And then the hand come up, and as you breathe out, you can open your mouth and breathe out as your abdomen goes towards the spine. That is the one simple Bastrika breathing, and then you can do that 8 times in the morning, 8 times in the afternoon, 8 times in the evening. If you can do just this, that's good enough for all practical purposes. But a lot of people, they get used to superficial breathing, and they don't really understand that you got to deep breathe even when you're exercising. But there are modifications of that too. Actually, in my wellness club in the morning, we go from Bastrika to Kapalabhati, Agnisara, Tribandha, then four other varieties that I do. That way, one is called Anlom Vilom, other one is called Brahmari and Ujjayi, all those things, variety of things I make them do according to the capacity of the people. But the first thing to start is this, always assume a erect posture. You can do even standing, but then keep your spine straight and then take the deep breath. Uh, that's the first thing we teach them. After that, we want them to open both nostrils, left and right nostrils, right? What normally the physiological thing is, one nostril is dominant for 45 to 50 minutes or 90 minutes, and then the other nostril will be down. That means if you just test yourself now, one nostril is more open than the other nostril. Okay, so alternate nostril breathing is the second one we teach, so that they can open both nostrils efficiently, and then that will work better for them. Then when other things we do, several things have several things. One of the things I will tell you, there is what is called Om. You know that, Tracy, right? Om. That Om kind of has three syllabi in that. A, U, Ma. When you do A, that acts on the abdominal area, so that the liver and kidneys are getting better supply. If you do that A for 15 minutes, that's a very good. So you first take a deep breath. As you breathe out, you go on saying like that, right? That's the one. Next one is the U, is for the diaphragms to go down pretty good. That is U. Then the last one is the Ma, which is for the throat and speech and all of that. Actually, there are three nervous plexus, right? In the neck, cervical, thoracic in the chest, and then splanchnic in the abdomen. All these nerves are acted upon, and that's why we become very, very focused and concentrated. Actually, if you do this, it will be wonderful. Probably you know the regular pranayama, Tracy. That's why I'm telling you this. I don't know about Alka, how much she does, But Tracy told me that she does practice yoga and pranayama. That's why I'm telling you a little bit more for her. Make sense?
It makes sense, Doc, and I appreciate the information you gave. I had not been consistent. I had fallen off for a little while, but I'm getting back into my practice again.
Yeah, that's one
Because
thing.
I'm able to compare the difference. I'm able to compare myself when I was practicing consistently.
Yeah,
I was not. So, at least I realized the difference in my health, the difference in my well-being, the difference in my mind.
yeah.
All of the
See,
above.
when I was practicing from 1985, initially I was only doing physical. I was much younger, obviously, and then I was doing them much better. And I learned from BKS Iyengar, who is a master in yoga, right? And he's very meticulous, very strict, and then even the standing posture also. If I do that standing posture, other people, my students, they say, "Oh my God!" So it is very tough if you do that just to stand yourself. But then I found massive difference when I incorporated this breathing exercises. Initially, I was able to do it okay, but I was not able to do like him. He was doing it. He was going on breathing out for 2 3 minutes, like I thought that was unbelievable. And then later on, I came to more of a minute maybe and all that. That's also very very good if you can do that. That means complete um, really inhalation and exhalation, and also there is holding the air in the middle that you should not do in the beginning because that is pretty hard on you. Say, if you take a deep breath and hold it a few seconds, and then let it out. That is that initial one is okay, but the middle one is called kumbhaka, and that kind of breathing practice really enhances you, but you have to do it very slowly. Suppose you have some other problems like a blood pressure or aneurysms and all that, that's the pressure is not good. See, one of the things people may say is yoga has massaging effect on your internal organs. That's why if you have some abdominal problems or respiratory area problems, any of that, this is much better. The breathing, these are called, there are bandhas. That means you, for example, Agnisara, that's a type of breathing which is a metabolic stimulator. Agni means fire. Agni Sara means it really fires up the fire of metabolism. How you do that is you kind of sit or stand with the spine erect. Then you are getting all the hi Atandra, come on in. She is you stand or sit with your spine erect. Then you slowly let the air come out of the nose, keep the mouth closed, and then bend your neck and keep your chin on the top of the chest, and abdominal muscles are going towards the spine because you are expiring air. And you keep holding like that for 2 3 minutes, but initially maybe only a few seconds, and then release it. This one is known to really uh, stimulate the uh, metabolism. But it won't happen just like that, but slowly it will happen. Hi, Tandra, welcome.
Hi, Dr. Well. Thank you so much for inviting me up here.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
hey,
this,
I don't want to mispronounce your name, Alka.
yeah, Alka, that's her.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, Dr. Rao, was that the breath of fire you were referring to?
Yeah, that is the breath of fire. It's called Agni Sara.
Yeah.
Sara means essence, Agni means fire, right? So breath of fire. But then the emphasis should be on exhaling the air where the abdominal wall goes towards the spine. Actually, no, usually you will abdomen becomes flatter and flatter and flatter. That's an additional benefit, especially some of the people who are concerned about the flabby, flat abdomen. They love that. But they won't have any of these things just like that. Do them slowly without any harm. See, because I'm a physician, I always watch out for first to do no harm. you know, then they can learn whatever the benefits they have. And also, I never promise people that you're going to be slim tomorrow. I'll say maybe give it like 3 to 6 months, and also depends upon how sincerely you are doing it. So it's a question of making a habit. Actually, I made yoga my lifestyle, Tracy, and that's why it is not a something I have to remember. I do it automatically. So
Yes, but when you get deep into and you understand the essence of yoga,
yeah,
then we realize that it actually is a lifestyle. And as you mentioned earlier today, it brings about that mindfulness and awareness. You
yeah,
know, when you're eating, and as I said, I had studied Ayurveda, so you understand now when you're paying attention to how you eat, that helps with your digestive system. You're
mm,
paying attention to your organs, you're paying attention to your tongue, the way in which your saliva is mixing with your food, how it's breaking it down.
yeah,
And it also slows down the manner in which you eat, which is good for digestion.
yeah,
So it really is a way of life, and everything serves a purpose. As you
yeah.
said, with yoga in Western culture, people are, I can't say everyone, but most people are more so concerned about the physical aspect of yoga.
Yeah. I mean,
Not,
they start with that. Even I have started with that, but then I moved on to deeper aspects of yoga out of my own interest. But initially, at least even if they're doing like that, that's much better. Atandra, you are an executive, right? Mostly.
Yes, sir.
Do you want me some tips for the executive? Because I am one, I do them too. Hi, Carlos.
Sure. Thank you.
hello.
Yeah. See, one of the things I saw with my friends who are really bank presidents or of that caliber, where they're executives all the time in the office and they're sitting down and they are not finding time to go to a gym or come to a yoga studio like that. So I kind of take their routine and give them uh, kind of opportunities for exercising while they are working, and that way they can incorporate this much better and then get the benefit of exercising while they are doing. For example, there is a office yoga I teach, which is for the executives who are sitting, the secretaries, all the people who are working with. They used to type a lot. They used to do the computing a lot. These days they can walk around and they can dictate and all that. That is there, but at that time they used to do that. So a simple workout which involves about the spine at the neck, at the lower lumbar region, and also this breathing a little bit. 10 minutes if you do that every day, 3 times, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. Sometimes you can okay, even 10 minutes each time you do that, you will benefit quite a lot. Right, Atandra? Make sense?
Okay, okay, okay. I was trying to get the steps as you were explaining them to me. I did hear about the different areas of the spine, but I don't quite understand it yet.
Yeah, yeah. You don't understand because you have to see that to me. I will do one thing, Atondra. I will send you a Zoom link. Come and meet me for 15 minutes, maybe. I'll show you. Take the routine and do that, and then tell me how you feel. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. That way, you will see exactly what need to be done, and then you go from there. Carlos, he is a student of mine. He did suffer some time the yoga. Welcome, Carlos.
Hello, Dr. Rao.
How are you?
I am very well. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for asking.
Tell our friends how was your experience with me doing the yoga?
Dr. Rao is one of the most giving persons I know, and he's incredibly intelligent, both as a medical doctor and also from ancient knowledge. You know, he knows about all the ancient, ancient knowledge from like different cultures. The yoga was fun. He's very, very patient, and it was a lot of fun. It wasn't, you know, I've done power yoga and I dreaded it. Dr. Rao's version is very easy to do, and he has ways of modifying, I think, because he works with people that are older that maybe don't have the same level of flexibility as some of the younger folks. But you know, it's a basic routine. I forget, it was like, I think 15 different exercises, if I recall. Not stressful, not difficult. And he's just a really good coach. You know, he's just a wonderful coach. So I loved it. That's all I have to say about that, Dr. Robert. Thank you.
Yeah, Carlos did very well, and his work schedule was very busy, and he was really getting into something important for the climate and all things. And also, he has a very fine intellect, but very rapid. You know, he had some ADHD maybe, but he was very intelligent about things too. So I kind of worked on that too, how he can slow it down a little bit, how can we went to deep philosophy also. Carlos can ask intelligent questions. So we were buddies for some time, right, Carlos? We have been. I have been
Yeah.
in his. Yeah.
You know, I lose track of time, Dr. Rao,
Yeah.
with what I think is I'm pretty sure I have ADHD. I'm self-diagnosed, but I do have a brainwave monitor. You know, and the problem is I don't have track of time. So it seems like I've known you for at least a year.
Yeah, yeah, more than that probably. But
But I can't
Carlos,
say the exact number.
yeah, Carlos does important work. That's why I took special care about his things too. Why I mentioned is the thought that he is using very enormously. Unless you know how to revive that mind, it can be detrimental to you. In a way, we are all ADHD because of this too much information that we absorb every day. That's why you want to really have a mechanism whereby you can be silent for a couple of times in the day and revive the mind like that. That's very important. And then you will graduate into always being silent. Yeah, Carlos, go ahead.
Do you mind if I share something, Dr. Rao, that I've started doing recently?
Yeah.
And Dr. Rao, you know, one of the biggest tips that he gave me was making sure that you get your work commitments done early in the day rather than late in the day. And I'll tell you how I modified my system. I used to wake up, do gratitude practice, and then immediately meditate. The problem with that is the meditation put me into a relaxed sleep mode, which wasn't really beneficial. You know, and because of that, I would end up procrastinating. So what I do now, Dr. Rao, based on your advice, I did something called habit stacking, which I think Dr. Rao mentioned right when I first came in.
Yeah.
Where basically you take an existing habit that you love,
yeah,
and you stack another habit on top of it. So this is what I've done, Dr. Rao.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning and I give gratitude practice. And the gratitude practice is super important to me because it helps me focus my day and realize that no matter how bad things are for me, that you know, I still have things to be grateful for. Then I go drink my one espresso of the day, and I know caffeine is bad. And by the way, Dr. Rao will never judge you. That's the other beautiful thing about Dr. Rao. He will never judge you if you're not vegan or whatever. So I have my espresso, just one espresso, Dr. Rao. And then I start doing, what I've been doing is a short work project, something that I can do very quickly that doesn't seem like work. And I get that win in. So it'll be like sending out an important email to a client that I wanted to get to. And little by little, I've noticed that, you know, so I send out that one email. It takes me like 5 minutes, but I get the satisfaction of saying, I did work. And then I go reward myself. And I go to my greenhouse and I look at my fish and my plants. and that's my reward. And I've noticed by doing this habit stacking plus rewarding, I can increase the amount of time I work so that I'll go to the greenhouse, mess around for, maybe 5, 10 minutes to give myself the reward. Then I'm able to go back and put in a nice 2 hour chunk of work, something that I recommend never go over 2 hours. I used to work 4 hours nonstop with hyper focus. No wonder I hated working. It was like torture, because I knew I was going to be 4 hours of extreme, intense focus. So now I limit that to 2 hours max, and then I go out and do a reward thing. And I'll keep, doing that throughout the day. And then finally, when I'm sort of done with my work reward system, I will go out and do a workout. And I'm doing 45 minutes a day, at least 5 days a week. And by the time I'm done with that, now it's dinner time. I have dinner and I start getting ready to prepare for sleep. Before, I used to start doing work at night and then trying to go to sleep, and I'm sitting there thinking about work. And this is something also that Dr. Rao advised me upon, is that you want to put away you want to sort of put all the stuff that's stressing you out and worrying you, put it away. Dr. Rao suggested something that I've done. For example, you write down the things that are on your mind. Usually with me, it's work-related financial stuff, probably with everybody. You write it down and you throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
And you're going to get to it the next day. And now your brain, you're done with work, you're relaxed, you've exercised. Then I do my meditation, which puts me in sleep mode, ready to go to sleep, which is something that I'm still struggling with, but little by little I'm getting better at even sleep. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. Yeah, he was catching up on things that I was mentioning, and he implemented. A lot of credit to you, Carlos. One thing, Etanda, I will present to you, whether you are doing it or not, if you are in business and executive mode and all that. I know Tracy is trying to form her own wellness business now, but she was an administrator, so she knows about it. Alka is also administrator, and she runs the nursing homes, I think. So what it is delayed gratification is something that I talk to my staff all the time. That's like you come, arrange your patients and be prepared for their visits. Different patients come for different. We used to do stress. We used to do biopsies, and lots of things went on in the clinic, right? So we need the equipment, we need all the orders in shape and all that. So all the time in the morning when they come, I told them, don't go and take a coffee break right away. Rather, you have the breakfast at home and come ready for the work, and then delay gratifying yourself until the things are in order and you are really ready for the day. And that helped them to go to the most important things in the morning, and after they are done, then they go and take a break. That is much better. That's something I always advise. And the other thing I advise people is, before you go to bed, spend some time unwinding yourself, especially nowadays, because we handle so much information from morning till evening. You will not believe how much information I handle personally. I appear like this, but during the workouts I'm like this. But most of the time, they don't stress me because I'm already ready for them, right? So winding down involves that. Lie down in the bed and take maybe it used to be 2 hours. People used to lie down in the bed and sing songs and all of that. But nowadays we have television, we have entertainment programs, and we have a lot of things that we plan with the laptop. We take the work home and all that. So what to do is at least half an hour. Allow half an hour before you actually go to sleep. Half an hour, unwind yourself. One of the unwinding I talked to Carlos about was unwind, unburden the mind. Whatever plans you have for tomorrow, you just want to write them down. And if they are very, very uh, trivial things, and you don't want to really hassle over them, just tear it off and then throw them in the trash. But if they are important also, write them and put them aside so that you can see them in the morning. But for now, try to forget everything. So you want to unwind, you want to unburden the mind, and then go to complete sleep. This is very quality sleep will be given if you are successful about removing most of the stuff in your head. Or other way you can do is recall the positive things that happened to you from morning till evening. What are the positives that happen to you? Sleep on the positivity, because this is neuroplasticity. If you allow the mind to really be negative, be worried, be all of that, it's not going to anything during the night, but you only spoil your own thinking process. Rather, if you sleep on the positive, you will get up very positive too. But if you sleep on something completely uh, something empty mind, that's much more. Actually, I do a different thing beyond that. I sleep on my being, not even in the thought. But that is a something everybody mature into.
Can
So
you explain that?
yeah, uh, see, thoughts are happening to you. You are not happening to the thoughts. So thoughts are happening to you means where are they happening? In your awareness. That awareness is your being. Once you are stationed there, then there are no thoughts, no mind. That's a very difficult thing for people to understand, but it is an experiential thing. It's not something describable, but it can be achieved by anybody. You don't have to be a special person for that, but you got to understand your thinking. You got to understand your flow of thinking. You got to slow them down, and then you come to one thought and go beyond the thought to establish yourself in the being. And then what happens is your intellectual powers, memory, imagination will be much better, but they're focused. They're in your control. So what happens is,
And you mentioned, Doctor, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You mentioned treating them like objects.
yeah, they are
That
objects.
was an incredible tip because
Yeah,
now when I'm doing what you're talking about,
yeah,
I actually see them as little spheres
exactly,
that,
exactly.
that I
Again,
can just sort of push away. I just realized there's nothing wrong with them. They're just little spheres
yeah,
floating around
yeah.
in my awareness. That was some beautiful advice, Dr. Rao. I really appreciate that. I just want to mention that. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, 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 that's correct, Carlos. What I was saying is you exactly said the correct word, because thoughts are happening to me means what? They are objects to me, to my awareness. So this is a very deep philosophy of saying that all is one. But then to come to that, you got to able to see your body as your body is a tool, external tool. Thinking, a tool, but internal tool. You are not the body only. Body is your instrument. You are not your thinking only. Thinking is your instrument. And then you, as the awareness, having these things. If you are not aware, all these things don't work at all. So it's difficult because we are caught up in the network of thought, and that is exaggerated by this information age. That's where I very focus on people. Most of it is not even physical. It's all in the mind, in the thought, and how to manage that. Be productive, but at the same time, really be aware of the tool that's going out of way and get it back into your control. That is what happens. Yeah,
Almost taking control of your time.
yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you're talking about is
yeah. Being,
controlling your time properly rather than wasting it
yeah.
watching some mindless TV show. I could be sitting there having a deep discussion or reading a beautiful book or something.
Yeah, even if you are focused on that, that's okay. What is happening is we want to read the book, we want to see the TV show, we want to work on the laptop, we want to answer on the phone and manage social media. That's what we are doing. That's kind of dangerous for you because you are actually affecting your attention span. That is where the danger is. As you go along, people can't watch 5 minutes show. They want 3 seconds, 5 seconds. You have to convey and all. Towards what they have to realize, but basically kids are losing attention span, teenagers are losing attention, and then they're committing suicide. Then just I see the other side of it, but there is a way to sharpen the knife of mind. Mind is like a sharp, intellect is a sharp instrument. But for that, you have to have a balance, and you have to really use the sharp knife carefully. Otherwise, it will hurt you. That is what is happening to a lot of people, not able to focus, not able to improve the attention deficit, not able to really enjoy the work. They're hurried, anxious, and then if you take some of the young students I talk to, teenagers and all that, they have this awful feeling of anxiety all the time. They're studying, but still they go through this anxiety. Adults also. Yeah.
Dr. Rao, I just realized something based on what you're saying. The you know the PTSD is incredible for military returning from from tours,
Yeah.
and that would be extremely helpful for that aspect of it because
Yeah, yeah, so that's an important point because I see people with grief because sudden loss of life, somebody they are not expecting, they suddenly die in an accident or like a leukemia or some of the things, right? And people will really suffer what we call grief reaction. What the grief reaction is, your brain actually undergoes physical change. The more intense you are feeling, the more sudden it is, the more it is. Suppose you are living with some patient who is have chronic disease going down years and years. You can see them dying right in front of you, going down, right? Then they die. It may not be that much of shock. And also, this is a culture where people are not allowed to see people dying. They die in the hospitals, nursing homes. Many patients I saw in the hospitals and nursing homes dying, they never had anybody close relatives there. But some of them are there at the last moment, something like that. But then they are also, the kids are not shown the last moment and all that, right? Slowly it is changing, but generally the culture is people are sent to nursing homes or hospitals to die. So people don't see it. But then if you are suddenly facing somebody's loss, like somebody is gone, died, the grief reaction actually produces physical changes in your brain. You don't have to go through that. Okay, that's where the preparation by exposing people with end of life issues and educating them and making them understand is very important too. Otherwise, post-traumatic stress is also like that. They suddenly are exposed to something that they never experienced. So somebody's leg is blown right in front of you. I don't describe all the gory things, but then people go through horrible things in war, right? And then they go through this tremendous cyclical recollection of the event. I will tell you, one of my nieces, she lost her mom in her arms, and I gave her a simple affirmation statement that she could do. What I told her, standing on the mantle of presence, again, the presence, right? I will give like the sun. I will not overthink. I will not expect anything from anybody. This is the five components: present, smile, give, not overthink, and not expect anything. These five components are there. But we know what she caught? She caught that present movement thing. And she began to be only in the present and bringing herself back to the presence, the breathing. I told some of the things that she was doing. But basically, she caught that being in the present, and she did not suffer the grief reaction. She was sad, she missed her mom, she loved her and all that. But then other thing I told her was, what would your mother want you to do? Would she like you to get depressed, not to study, not to build up your life? Or would she have loved you to go your potential, realize and be a professional woman and all that? Now she's doing cybersecurity masters, very, very bright kid. And then she's doing, it happened 2, 3 years ago, but her recovery was, the important thing I told her was, do this affirmation before you go to bed and after you get up from the bed. And then she did that, and then she tried to be in the present. That means paying attention to whatever she was doing. That is another thing I showed her, attention to every action. That's what I say to my staff also. So live in the present, because that is life. Past is gone, future is not yet here. The practical, if you look at it, this is what we know. I am here with you, I am enjoying my time with you, with my friends, and that's it. That is itself is life right now. So post-traumatic stress disorder real antidote is bringing back ourselves to the present and live in the present moment. Oh, that top video, Carlos, 5 ways for stress relief. That is a video I just made because I gave that lecture this morning in a friend's room, Rocky's room. So take a look at that, and then feed me what you feel about it, Carlos.
I would love to. Thank you.
Any questions, Atandra, Alka, Tracy? Sean, if anybody wants to come up, please raise your hand. I'll bring you up, and then we can ask questions or comments from you. We'll be happy to hear.
I do have not a well. I had a similar thing happen. My dog got hit by a car.
Hmm.
It died in my arms, and I can't. I don't stress over it, but those images are never gone.
Yeah.
Are they?
The same thing. The same thing. The post-traumatic stress disorder thing is what you employ is cyclical thought. That means the same thought is coming and staying and going and then staying in your subconscious, and they called them ingrained thoughts. In Sanskrit, they call them samskaras. So there is a way to clean up our ingrained thoughts is to deliberately come back to what we are doing. And if you are not allowing it to go back to subconscious because you are coming to the present so quickly, that is the way to get rid of them. Or every time they happen, if you involve them, like this was happening, it gets strengthened. But if you can remember, oh, that has happened, it's all gone, then the hold of the thought on you will be lessened. Thoughts are really powerful. They are real, but they are objects. So understanding how powerful they are and what we call self will reshaping your thinking process. So only you can do any number of speeches and all those things will only make you understand, but actual doing at the moment, only you can do. That's what I'm saying. My niece, she was able to do it because she's young. She was only 18 years at the time. But then she took what I told her, and one point she took it, and then she was very happy with that. Her life has come back instead of going the depression, going the way of really feeling sorry about herself, not able to focus on the things that she has to do to pass those exams. Actually, after that, she did very well with her exams and everything. So that's why I'm telling you, if she just listens, understands, and don't do anything about it, it doesn't matter who told her, because that is what is happening with the self-help books. There's so much good advice there. Actually, these days, a lot is vetted and then screened and all that. But why people don't get them is because they just study, understand them, and then they forget about that. But if they do that with themselves, this way it's called experiential thing, Carlos. So do this present moment awareness thing, and those memories will be less and less and less.
But the thing is the image doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it does. So that's why get caught up in the reactions, it gets stronger again.
Right, but I think I've managed to cut the reactions away from it. I can just look at it now as like a picture.
Very good, very good. That's what, see, some of the patients that I advise, they come with a grief reaction, right? Most of them are pretty sad because they may feel like who is going to take care of me, or who is going to give me that kind of love like my grandpa gave. And they are sorry for themselves and sorry for the other person too, but basically they are living in the past, or really feeling sad about something is not going to go back. So it's a matter of fact, but if you say like that, that will be cruel, right? But what you can show to their mind is that life is cyclical, and life will come back in some form or other, right? So there was a story I used to tell them that was written by a guy called Leo Buscaglia. He's a very good soul, very happy, loving person. He was on the public channel in 80s, 90s, I think, 80s basically. Later on, he died, but he wrote a book called Freddie the Leaf. The leaf Freddy is a small one that just buds and then comes out, and then that Freddy enjoying the sun and then looking around, and then the breeze, and then she looks at next to him. There's a big leaf, and he makes friends with him, talking there. Then suddenly he saw a ripe leaf from the top of the tree coming down. And then he goes, "Oh, what is it? What happened to him? Oh, he died. That's why he's going down." Then say, "Oh, what is death?" And then he tells them, "We finish off our life at some point, and that's why it's happened to him." "Oh, will that happen to us?" "Yeah." "So you mean I will die too?" "Yeah, you will die too, but you won't die right now, but you have to go through the stages." But then he says, once the old life goes down and gets buried into the ground, it becomes the nidus for the future life. And the tree can come up there with all the things that are going through and all that. That way, Freddy is assured, okay, it's not the end of thing, but let me enjoy this life as it is there now, right? So that is what it is. Don't spend all your energy on that dog is gone, but then you don't forget it. But then that association that life was good. But at the time when he was there, you spend the life with him. You spend quality of time. That is important. That's what I tell my siblings or my family members. Always take care of the people when they are here. Don't cry over them afterwards. That I have you feel guilty that I have not spent time with them. And all. That's all. Spill the milk after the milk is spilled, right? So what you want to do is you want to revisit your important connections, talk to them, take care of them. There's another thing too. As you really understand who is lost, and then you get those qualities in you, and you are kind of living that person through you. That's another thing we can do. Like my father, some qualities are there, and we adopted them. So whenever we kind of have that quality come out of us, then we know our dad was like that. That's why we are very charitable. He was, So that was told to me repeatedly as I was growing up. I assimilated it, so I never missed my father, even though I never saw my father 1 year. But I knew how great he was because the stories came to me when, as I was growing up, everybody, wherever I went to the other towns, they told me about his generosity, about his greatness. So we can adopt those qualities and make them live through us. There are new people here. Lisa, Enigma, Junica. Anybody wants to come up and have a question, please come up. We'll be more than happy to engage with you. Anything else, Tracy or Alka, Atondra?
Doc, your explanation of everything has been so good. Thank you so much. And Carlos, thank you for bringing up key points. They're very informative.
Thank you. I echo what Tracy has said. This has been, I've just been sitting here and I'm in such a relaxed state right now, which is good given the day. It hasn't been a bad day. It's been a working day, and an eventful day. And so I'm definitely grateful and appreciative for this space. So thank you, Dr. Rao.
Yeah, no problem. But that is the modern thing, right? There's.
Do you mind if I share a story, Dr. Rao?
Yeah, just let me make this point and then you take over, Carlos. Okay. What I was saying is this modern tendency of worrying over the result and really feeling threatened in a minor way or getting pushed by work and all those things, they are all small stimuli of sympathetic stimulation. That's how we accumulate, like the bees bring in the honey and put in the nest. We bring in all these small stressors into our life, and then when they go up, they can really go down. See, our whole thing will go down. That's why try to attend to those stresses as they happen. That's all I wanted to say. Okay, Carlos, please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. I was going to comment on what Atandra said because, you know, I had this job where I was working incredible hours. It was a law firm, you know, it was a big law firm. And, you know, I had long days, like, you know, 16 to 18-hour days. And I go really hard. So I would be completely exhausted, dreading work completely. And I'm sitting on the elevator. It was going to be a super, super busy day, like always. And there was a secretary there that you know was always in an incredible mood. And I looked at her and I said, how do you, you know, I know you're working just as hard as I am. How do you keep such a beautiful attitude? You know, she said, she looked over at me, she goes, I choose to have a good day every single day. And when she said that, you know, I said to myself, I said, I'm going to have a good day today. And it was still a super difficult day, but it was still a good day. You know, it's so much of it is your mind. And I know Dr. Rao knows a lot more about that.
Yeah, that is me, what she's talking about. No matter what the day is, I have a even keel thing, and then actually I enjoy the day, because once you are aware of your reactions and then you know such in situations you're going to react like this, you will be more wary of them. So that's why I was telling people, review all the reactions, negative, positive, that you had to the day. At the end of the day, reflection, that's what we need, right? Reflect on them. Don't have to blame yourself or don't anybody, just to see why did I react so emotionally with that. That is the exhaustion that people feel, is they let the thoughts go in whichever way they want, and they let the emotions go whichever they are going. But the moment you see, that's a trivial thing, why should I feel so much? Somebody has an opinion on us, it is their opinion, they are entitled to it, but why do you have to take it and react to it? That's all. Once you begin to think like that, once you begin to see what is happening in your interior, you can change it to positive. That's what I said. You can really change interior, like a reshape it. That's what we call in yoga. Yoga is not just for the body, it is about your inner structure, how you can reshape that. Basically, the thoughts, emotions, and all those things will be there too. You can make them into happier things. There is something called ever renewing energy. As you go in the morning, you're highly energetic. But then, because of these reactions, other things we go through, or we are threatened, or we are worried, or we are all those things, that they sap your energy. But once you are placid, not if you are dead or anything, but why am I worrying about this small thing so much? That maturity comes into tranquility in your mind, and that is very, very energetic. You got to experience yourself. Then once you are there, then all the work will go on. Then you'll be keep on smiling at things. See, in the one of the five things, the last one I say in the video is smiling. That we can do. Actually, initial smile, just smiling at yourself in the morning, gives you endorphins to get on this high horse that you will have at the end of the day. I can relate with that girl who said, I choose to be happy. That's really true. Happiness is a choice, and unhappiness can happen to us because we are reacting to them way out of proportion sometimes. You know. Yeah, I'm very happy that she said that, Carlos. Actually, I get this lots of times. Why is that you are so bubbly at the end of the day? We have such a bad day. or you also had so many difficult cases, so you are in those meetings and all that. But then I wash them off with each meeting. That is what I told several times. Even in these rooms, I don't get the brain fog, mainly because after this room is done, that's it. Because I go to the other areas, maybe spending time with my family or watching a movie or whatever, we completely into that. We go out on the car or we go to for the small ice cream, something like that. All the small things we do wholeheartedly. Just because we are eating so many times, it doesn't mean that is something old. We enjoy that. I don't sit down with the laptop and other data and all that. At least 2 hours before I sleep, we'll have a lot of fun, unwinding and finding about each other. This is called. I'll be telling everything to my wife, whether she listens to me or not. I just share that everything to her, and lots of times she listens to that. So that is quality of time. It's not just informing when they need, but relating your experiences to them. That is how they will know everything that's going on within you, with you.
Doc, is it in yoga that we are told to follow the to follow the animals and the natural habitat, the plants, and the circadian rhythm?
Yeah, yeah. What happened was very beginning when they were living outdoors, the attitude of the yogis was Mother Earth is my mother, really. So I'm going to stay on her, flat, hard stones because it's the lap of my mother, right? That kind of attitude. And then they considered all the living beings, not just animals, plants, and other things also, as themselves also. So they kind of has a feeling, but they noticed each animal has a peculiar physical prowess. Like, for example, if you look at a leopard that jumps and that is very agile. And if you look at the monkey, it can climb up things very easily. So they studied the animals and developed some asanas that will provoke inner quality for you. For example, if you are standing and then your both feet are um, completely clutching the ground, and then you put both hands on your hips, and then you do the forward bend, backward bend, you actually grow in confidence. So there are so many various. Suppose I see somebody crouched and really feel sad about herself, her life situation, all of that. That inner thing comes out. This is it could be psychosomatic or somatopsychic, right? Both ways yoga has developed. So if you see certain qualities that are not good for you, you can do opposite exercises and you will get rid of them. But everything is not instant. In yoga, it's a slow, painless practice. So if you want to develop certain qualities, certain asanas you do, and if you want to do certain disease process, you do certain asanas. So what is unique about that is from childhood, from an infant, all the way to the person who is going to die 2 days, people can do yoga, but their own level, their own tolerance, and their own capacity. So you cannot push them into something that's not good. But if you allow them to know their body and to react to the body, that's much better. One tip I'll give is this is executive yoga to Atondra. What it is we all know there are solids, liquids, and gas, right? Solids are compared to something inertia, and liquid is energy that is really flowing because we have to accomplish so much as executives, right? And gas is something harnessed energy that can drive trains and all that. So what you want to be in that harnessed energy where energy is not running by itself, which is called rajas, or we are inertia and lazy and not moving, that is tamas. What happens in the human body is if you are not moving, that's why sitting is like new smoking. Sitting is very bad to accumulate this inertia in the body. Once it go on accumulating, the body like learns to like it, and then you will be like now. I have been standing all this meeting that we have because I'm 69. I don't want to sit too long, right? But I enjoy standing and then moving around and all that. So that is because I'm aware of where the inertia, that's called tamas energy, accumulates, and I relieve that every day. Over the day I'm going, I can climb the stairs like I did 5 times. I went up and down and before the meeting, and on the meeting I'm just standing. So simple things like that where you allow the body to move in all directions. Dancing is one of the best for that, you can do that too. So if you don't do that, this bad energy will become more inertia and more at the cellular level. You will not have metabolism acting up very good. That's why you want to understand all these energies, how they develop, how we can use them, how we can expend them unnecessarily. Once you have the knowledge, then it is not the age, it is not the underlying conditions, it is how your body is in touch with these things. I hope that makes sense. Is that too much for Tracy?
No, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
It makes sense, Doc. It teaches balance, I believe.
Okay. Very good. So there is a separate thing I constructed for different, like an athlete group, like a youngsters who come for sports physical or particular game, football people and all that, and also musicians holding the. My son is a trumpet player, right? And so they can have this problem with the shoulders sometimes, but then when he's young, he may not notice, but later on he will notice. So teaching him something like this, he will prevent that with what is needed for the shoulder and all that. There was one physician that came to me. I met her here in the clubhouse. She is a pediatrician, and she had shoulder problem, rotator cuff injury. You know how bad it is. So a lot of people live with that kind of injury, and then they lose the function very, very quickly, or the painful function, right? So she had a surgery. She went to the physical therapy. She was going to the therapy. Nothing is really helping her. She was still having the pain. So I told her, okay, I will show you micro yoga. Come to me. She came to me. I told her. I gave her the exercise. I demonstrated. I don't say more verbally because it's complicated, right? But if they see me doing it, they can see it very easy. That's why I invited her to come to my Zoom thing. Then I can show her. Then one day she learns, she can go and do them. And as she's doing, she has questions, she can ask me. That's the way to. You have to teach yoga person to person. In person is better, if not on the Zoom, right? So she did these exercises 2 weeks, like I prescribed to her. That's called micro yoga. I'm targeting only the shoulder, and she had the fibrosis released. So when she went to the physical therapist, she said, "I'm going to send all the people to Dr. Rao." Something like a joking, she was saying. But actually, that can be done. So you got to know how to customize, how to be really safe. It's not like running on the treadmill. Yoga is something you want to learn from somebody who knows about what it is, and then do it with your own sense of your awareness of body. Don't compete. Just do it. There's no competition in yoga. And then there should not be any pain when you are doing it. If you are doing it and you have pain, you are doing something wrong. Then immediately consult whoever your teacher is. So it has to be slow, deliberate, sustained. That is the discipline that is required to get the good efforts. So a lot of people just do a few days and then leave it, and then they lose the progress. So again, when you go back, you have to start from the beginning. That is the patience you should have. That's why make it a lifestyle, then it won't be a big problem. For me, that is it. It's a lifestyle.
So, Doc, how receptive are healthcare workers or doctors to this information? Because it seems like, doctors suffer from burnout.
Yeah.
and having lives in their hands.
Yeah.
I had a situation where this one doctor was prescribing this medication. As a matter of fact, it was Tumed
Yeah.
that the World Health Organization, I believe, had
Yeah.
suggested to stop combining these drugs because they realized it led to patients bleeding after surgery.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he said, you know what, I'm so overwhelmed. I have so much stuff going on. I don't have time to really update myself on all the new studies that are coming out or reading this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, my goodness, this could be something that saves a life. This information is vital.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, I understand him having all of these patients and being overwhelmed, and you're just applying himself
Yeah.
to working with his patients, but at the same time, not having the time to
Hello,
update
Nash.
himself on the information.
Yeah. I'm inviting my friend Nach. Yeah, that is a problem, Tracy. Healing the healer. That is where I am focused on, right? The room name is also Docs and Burnout, because we will be having this situation when the many doctors are going to be burned out. Actually, what is happening um, in the field right now is many doctors are leaving the profession because they are not able to. They are really immoralized. They are not really enthusiastic anymore. They don't have the same respect. All that's one thing. The workload has become so much. So I made several videos on the how to deal with this burnout. One of them I kind of talked about this. What is happening is you are used to certain routine. You get up in the morning, you get ready, and then you go, and then you get stressed out to the day, and then come back home, and maybe you take a drink or you take something, really relegating the real pain to the back, and that becomes more and more as they go on. On the other hand, if you can really strengthen your inner resilience to deal with the life, then you can go and face those situations with that resilience. That's what I teach, I practice, and I kind of tell everybody about that. That won't come unless you take deeper dive into yourself. Okay, so there, most of the time, the hospitals exploit and abuse physicians. You know, but if you don't know, even if you are in a physical abuse relationship, unless you stand for yourself, unless you really get out of it and make a life for yourself, that person may want to enjoy beating the person, right? Like the hospitals also, they they don't care. They say, oh, we're doing that. They don't understand. One of the things I always talked about is why my style is different compared to other. Why I am not burnt out, rather I'm much more strengthened by my having health problems and other things, right? uh, because most of the methods or process that they are giving are thought based, whereas most of their thinking is the one that is producing these ego problems and depression problems and all of that. So unless you understand and go beyond and really bring your awareness to the front, you will not be able to handle it. That's what is happening to the doctors. I'm trying to help them, but as you said, most of them, they say they don't have the time, or they don't think that they are having this kind of problems until too late. So it's a question of really taking it on a massive scale and understanding what is healthcare, how the healthcare people should be for the citizens, so that they will be protected. Now that artificial intelligence has come, it is enhancing the cognition. Lot of information will be given to the patients. You don't need the doctors for that, right? But then lot of this information may not be interpreted properly by the patients, so they need guidance there. But medicine as it is now will not be there in a few years. It will be much more. People, they have Dr. Gupta's GPT. That one is for the patients. They can go in there, put in some data that they have, and they will have a very good answer, and they can check it with other people, other healthcare professionals that they have. But then very few people will be needed for that. So we'll be much more smart about healthcare as a consumer, but the providers may not sustain this, may not be able to. And the other thing is, we made a system as a business to make money. Doctors means, oh, you make a lot of money. That is also a problem, right? We made our health as a commodity, and if you take a look at the general citizenry, they don't have good health. They don't have really access to the care. A lot of people are not given the insurance. There are so many problems because we made it a commodity, and few people now. The biggest chunk is going to administrators, insurance people, and drug pharmacy. These people can take a lot, and the doctors and nurses are not getting the money. They told them, you already had the cut off your pie, and that's it. You don't have any more available to you. So it is still, money is there, but not too many doctors. There is a tiers. There are poor doctors. There are doctors who are making only little money. There are doctors who are making a lot of money. But then that is going down in numbers. If you take the numbers, that's what it is. Um, and then procedures on this, they're going to be much cheaper, much better with the AI. So I'm happy about that, because I'm always for personalized medicine. I'm always for patient advocacy. I'm always for patient being very intelligent and participating in their care with the information, with intelligence. We have to train them like that. And poor people are influenced by drinking sodas or sitting in the sofas, watching TVs, and smoking, alcohol, all these things. These are not there in yoga. See, that's one thing. I never smoked, luckily. I never did drugs. I used to drink a little wine, but nowadays my mind has become so sensitive. If I even smell it, I can get headache. So I don't drink anything anymore. I just drink water and the fruit juices. So going more and more to the natural. Mainly, doctors are kind of have to take care of themselves, but at the same time, I sympathize because they are given too much work and too little opportunity to get the right help. And that's why the problem. Even this society of everything in a few seconds is not going to be for these kind of things. You cannot have something I told you and then you take it there and then implement it right away. It won't. You got to really get into it, and for a long time you have to change. So people are so messed up the other way. They have to realize that, and they have to work on that on themselves only, by really being non-judgmental about that, and then really getting better. What's the end of it? You will be a very joyful person, enjoy your life, enjoy your family, enjoy your work. So that is what I am evident of that. So I overcame some of the problems because of this ancient wisdom. That's why I bring it in, not like a religious thing, but the wisdom of those people living close to the nature, having this capacity to reshape themselves from internally. So that was there. That is for everybody. It's not for just only Hindus or Indians. It's a gift to the world. Like somebody invented like Earth is round, like that. These general universal truths are there. That's for all human beings. That's why, first of all, can you accept all the human beings as one? That's where it starts.
Wow, very well said, Doc. I feel like if with what I do, I try to bring mindfulness and awareness to the patients,
Yeah,
hoping that by doing that, that they can be in tune with themselves,
yeah,
and by being in tune with themselves, they can better advocate
yeah.
on
Definitely,
their behalf
definitely. You
and
have to.
assist the doctors with,
Yeah.
their health, their own health.
Yeah, you have to empower them, Tracy. That is very good. You are empowering them with their own skills. That is where a lot of people to be. See, another thing is there are so much diamond-like things within us. once you realize them with your own understanding, you don't need all these small things, the money, the ego, the all those things you don't need because you're happy by yourself. I am by myself happy, very joyful. But when I come out to the things I need to do for the family and all that, I kind of do it. But all that also I'm doing it with really kind of a joyous mood. It does nothing really gets me these days. Maybe I'm
Well,
going
Doc,
out.
I don't think we're gonna get their attention if we tell them that they don't need the money
Yeah,
and the other stuff. I think that's just a side effect. Once they start doing the
yeah,
work
it's
later on,
a
they'll realize.
yeah, it's a societal thing. But if you examine the history of humanity, the cultures that were not this kind of commercialization or monetization, although they were not there, they were more caring about each other. So, two things if you examine, one is this ego development, the other one is profit orientation. These two have become the bane of our society. So you have to understand and work around them, and you can work for the minimum things maybe, but why do you have to be getting so much more because of your psychological greed? That everybody has to examine for themselves. And once you understand that, this is the tragedy. I realized that we have so many inner treasures. People don't know how to tap them. But once you have the clarity, harmony, and really joy, not just being happy for something just happened, a new car, or that will go away. But then what is permanent is something within you, with each human being. Once you uh, get that, then you'll be able to serve other people too. That's why you remember mentioning Vivekananda. He said the human life purpose is realize the divinity within you and manifest it outward and work for the welfare of the world.
Yes, Doc, I like that.
Yeah,
You mentioned the treasures. Um, in terms of the emptying of the mind
yeah.
and the nighttime routine that you spoke about, I thought about it, and one thing that I tend to do is I kind of use the power of the subconscious mind at night when I'm going to bed. If I want to get clarity on something or try to figure out an answer, or, I would kind of focus or speak to my subconscious to kind of guide me and give me insight while I sleep so
That
that I can.
that is actually against yogic way of looking at it. What it is you are don't want to strengthen the subconscious thing. Rather, you want to understand and get rid of it.
So that's why I was asking you.
Yeah.
That sounds like a conflict.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it is conflict, no doubt about it. And it is a conflict, and also it's like you are digging your own hole.
well, we can expand on that later on.
What it is suppose, like we talked about the negativity, something negative, right? And then it happened, it's gone, but then we recall it, and then we kind of let not let it go, but rather strengthen it by recalling it.
But what if I'm looking for a solution for
Yeah,
something? Maybe a solution for a patient
that's fine. That's
some
fine.
clarity,
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
thinking that within.
yeah, but it's not in your subconscious. It's right in front of you in the presence. You want to do some brainstorming or something, fine, do it, go ahead. But then when you are doing it, don't go back to what happened while what is in front of you. Each step you do it. This is where multitasking and subconscious mind, all these things come, which are really not there. They're all our imagination and all that. Actually, what it is there is our mind makes them more stronger. This is the neuroplasticity, where you are thinking something unconsciously, you are making it stronger. You are not emptying it out. You are
Mm,
so don't leave it like that. Okay, go and do it. You have brainstorming, you have so many steps that you want to do, fine. But when you're doing each step, be focused, be here and now, and don't allow the mind to go back and forth. Then you will accomplish those steps. Each step done, you go next one, next one, next one. Why do you have to think about all the next one steps when you're doing one step? Be focused on that step, then go to the next one. That's the kind of thing. But if you are thinking, 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 you're going to enhance that one particular thing and give it as a neuronal path. That is where the neuroplasticity is. Suppose you are thinking something positive continuously, that will really come to fruition because you are so positive about doing things and then you are doing it, you are paying attention and all that. But if you brood and if you allow that memory or imagination stay in your mind, that's not, that is the samskara I'm talking about.
So you're saying it's a conflict with mindfulness then?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Exactly. I think you put it very nicely, Tracy. That's exactly what it is. We want to be mindful, but we are going stepping out of it and going into the memory. That's why it's the conflict.
Okay.
You got it. I think you got it correctly.
Yes, noted. Thank you.
Yeah. Do that positivity, reinforcing positivity. That's okay, but positivity is not implemented. Even though you are thinking about it, what's the use?
Thank you for that explanation.
Yeah. I think the more you are here and now, that's why be here in the now is very, very important. People are in the rooms as I will be watching them, they will be talking about all the things that have happened, and there's only just intellectual exercise. What I am talking about is experiential presentness. See, when you're experiencing, you don't have any thoughts, you are actually experiencing the thing. That is the difficult thing for a lot of people. You know. Hi, Simon. Already. So, if I think we are over the hour for half an hour or so. I was supposed to actually open that Sivagnan Seva at 7 o'clock, but this is 7:38 now, so I will probably not do it today. So I will see you again tomorrow in the evening around 6 o'clock, and we will talk more on this 5 ways for stress relief, more details. I made those videos. I'll bring them also. Maybe one of those videos, one of the videos you can see, and then you'll enjoy breathing details, Tracy. We can do that. Anyway, you also, Tracy, you can come to the Zoom session. So if you want a link, I will send it to you, and I'll send it to Atondra. But we can do individual times so that you guys are not coming early in the morning, but you come at a time that you can do, and I will show you those routines. And then as you do them, if you have problems, you can reach me out. Okay?
Do you have the 6 a.m.?
Yeah, that is the wellness regular room. That's the one that people, really serious people come and then they do that. And then sometimes they don't do that because they again fall into this work schedules and all that. One lady, she wanted to come very badly, but then she has a dog, she has to take it out, she has a mother, so many things, poor guy. But then she was very sincere about everything. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Doc. Just
Yeah.
send me the link. I don't appreciate it.
Yeah, I will. And then if you want to continue in a deeper way, that's up to you. But generally, all the friends, I meet them and I showed them some things that they can use right away. But to implement that takes some time for them. So I give the time for them and then they can jump into that. I give a lot of things out here, but then there's all talk. But I like to show people what it is that should be done. And I enjoy doing myself with all the people anyway. So, all right. Thank you, Chandra, Alka, and Tracy. And I'm very happy I met Tracy today. We had a long chat this afternoon. And still, I like to see you as many times as possible, Tracy. Then you can go along with what we are doing. Okay?
Thank you, Doc.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll see you tomorrow then. Okay?
ఇవేనా మాట్లాడింది ట్రేసీ మధ్య
Yeah. ఇవన్నీ ఆపేసి మాట్లాడుతుంది రికార్డ్ అవుతాయి కదా ఏదైనా నెగిటివ్ మాట్లాడాము